Hi. If you've ever been or are currently going through a dark night of the soul, I know how it feels right now. Everything feels like it's falling apart. Your identity, your clarity, your emotions, your sense of direction. If it feels like everything's collapsing all at once, then this message is for you. I'm hearing your soul has pulled you forth to this message. I'm seeing your consciousness has actually gone into the quantum field, suspending itself, and anchored this message back to you, to be more accurate. So, this is designed to be a spherical model that is time. And it's something that you'll continuously move towards. Now, I'm going to open up with a card for this reading before I really dive deep and help you understand and hear what's going on in here. And it's the snake card. Snake energy. This is an archetype that you've mastered. Okay? I'm going to read something to you and I'm going to tell you the download that I got right before opening this message for you. Snakes come from many universes, bringing their light and wisdom with them. They step down to Earth through Neptune. Now, Neptune is an intangible planet, right? It's gaseous, it's very mysterious. But it's our connection to a higher power. It's the things in which we do not see. The things in which you do not see right now. It's also, if you are finding this with Pisces being the North Node right now, anytime before July 2026 of the 26th, you're still moving through this. I'm hearing give yourself grace with this. You may even have like a North Node in Pisces, you don't have to, but it's where there's a intangible hand or higher power that's guiding you through this. Anyway, let me tell you the message that I got from this because it's so profound. Where they collect the keys and codes from Atlantis and Numeria. When they became physical, they crawl on the ground and spread this information so anyone can access it. Now I'm gonna just wait there for a minute. There's something that you're going through now where, you know, it's like a 9 of Wands energy where it's someone that they've been through so much and they're one step before the finish line. And they've cultivated so much strength on their journey and they're closer now than they ever have been. But it's also the moment they really want to give up. You're on the verge of a breakthrough. And I'm seeing someone fall up. It doesn't matter how many times you fall down. What matters is that you pick yourself back up each and every single time. Now, this is the vision that I got. This time you've fallen down. Or what appears to be down. It's a cyclical cycle. So you're on a certain journey of this spherical motion. And you're going to be sitting at a higher vantage point, understanding that you've recovered certain keys, certain codes, certain information. That's going to be so vital. And I'm seeing vitality, like vital. I'm seeing it as, you know how when you're in a video game and you up level the health of your avatar when it's been like down, right? I forget what it's called, but it's like a boost essentially that's happening. I'm seeing that. You're collecting something and it's being put in your inventory. And you don't see it yet. But there's something that you're going through now that is it's like a lifeline for someone else who you'll cross paths with. It may be something that you say, but it's because you've been through it. It feels like chironic energy, right? Chiron is like the wounded healer. And it's ironic because he attracts people into his life. And where this is aspected, you may want to look where Chiron is aspected in your chart, but it could be in Pisces and maybe in the 12th house, but he attracts people into his life based off the same resonant wound. And because he's been through it, he has the wisdom, right? If you're going to go on the ocean and sail, you want to get advice from someone who's been through the roughest of oceans, not someone that's read about it in a textbook. And there's something around like You're going to be eligible for some kind of position that you're being prepared for, but it doesn't feel like a light preparation. It feels like you're being initiated right now. That's what it feels like. So let me continue, right? So, I wasn't expecting this message to be like this, guys. I was not expecting this message. So Snake talks about living according to your divine essence, right? And you're roaming through this earth according to your divine essence. So they are then closely connected to the hollow earth. The reason also I'm opening up with this card is because you're gonna know that this is for you, especially when I talk about the message from it. Especially if you're experiencing these things or you've been through these things and you go through cyclical cycles of this, but each time you'll see to that higher level of resolution, understanding why you had to undergo those, I'm hearing trials, what felt like a setback became the very reason for your success. And the success wasn't in what you achieved, it was in who it is that you have become. Just let that sink in for a minute. Everything's been shaping you. Everything is light, and it doesn't have to look like light for it to be light. They are then closely connected to the hollow earth and energetically bring up ancient knowledge and the records of the history of the planet. Snakes are messengers who bring warnings or remind you to look beyond the outer appearance of someone or something around you. Often they bear good news that change or transformation is on the way. Hold up, right? Because I want this to be a free flow session. I need to find this download about snakes that I had. I was watching something about on the Diary of a CEO, and it was an episode about this man that had lived in the Amazon, and he was talking about his relationship with snakes, right? Now, snakes are also guardians of portals. And he said this, and I wrote this down. He said, a snake will interpret your inner state. I'm going to leave it there, right? We're going to see how that blends in with this message. But just bear in mind, a snake will interpret your inner state. You've mastered that. I'm hearing you've mastered the art of that. And I'm hearing you do it like in this artistic style as well. Okay, because if you think about snakes, they actually don't even see things physically properly. Like, I don't want to say properly, but they see things in the form of vibration, and they see each individual cell. And I'm seeing that, oh, this is getting deep. On a cellular level, you understand the suffering and the slow bandwidth and the slow oscillation that's happening within another human being. And you can interpret the suffering that they're going through, but also not take it on as your own. You observe, but you do not absorb, and that's something that you've mastered. Okay? Now, and your sensitivity is a gift in this. Now, often they bear good news that change or transformation is on the way. They may herald an expansion of consciousness which will inevitably revolutionize your life. All reptiles still carry the original divine blueprint or essence they received when they were created. This offers them power and purity, and this is why snake magic offers a powerful energetic protection if you call on it sincerely. You're becoming more confident in this ability as well. I'm just seeing a confidence that you have cultivated, especially if you look back at your old self. There has been a baptism. You've risen to a new level of consciousness, and you look back at the old self and you understand there was still many gifts and abilities to be cultivated, even if that was in times of darkness in your life, okay? And even if that's one that you're moving through right now, there's something that you're bringing up with you this time when you pick yourself up. This is the guidance, right? So you're asked to be very aware today because the snake card is bringing you a message that something is about to happen. Are you ready to burst out of your own skin and expand your life? Is it time to plan a holiday or move house? Is an opportunity going to be presented to you? On the other hand, this card may be offering you a warning. Can you trust the people around you? Trust yourself in your interpretation. You can trust yourself. Look beyond the surface and listen to your gut instinct. Remember to call on snake magic if you feel you need protection, and know that this will keep you safe. Your guidance is to be ready for any eventuality, Tune into the wisdom of the universe that's available to you now. Now, they're showing me this meditation that we did when we were doing the snake meditation and the fire horse on some kind of live that we did. I think it was the year of the fire horse preparation that we did at the beginning of 2026. And this message is going to drop when the snake energy has already been absorbed. It's something that you have, it's an archetype within you. That's what I'm seeing. It could be a prominent guide, but it reminds me of, you know, we have 3 stages of consciousness in the Andean Trinity, and you have 𝓻𝓪𝓻𝓵, 𝓠𝓪𝓻𝓵, and 𝓂𝓪𝓻𝓵. So 𝓂𝓪𝓻𝓵 is the land of the living, 𝓻𝓪𝓻𝓵 is the heavens, so the heavens is the condor, the land of the living 𝓂𝓪𝓻𝓵 is the puma, and then the south node, and then the underworld is 𝓠𝓪𝓻, and that's where the snake resides, and it talks about deep depths of the subconscious. But the funny thing is, as you go into the subconscious, when we think about it, it's like things that are dark, and it's in at the astral realm or the metaphysical realm, it represents the lowest base consciousness, as well as the lowest aspect of the house, and the house is a depiction of the soul and the self. So I'm seeing within the basement there's something that you're recovering. Essentially, there's like lower levels of consciousness, something within the darkness that's waiting to be retrieved, and that's something that you've seen. I'm seeing you look back at your life and you recognize that version of self, but they don't recognize the version that they would have become and that they would have grown into, and you've come out stronger every single time. It was designed to build you up, never to break you down, but to allow you to reassemble yourself with more structural integrity. So yeah, that's the energy that I get for this, right? And that's going to be a kind of your confirmation opening up. Now, the interesting thing is, I had some notes for the Dark Night of the Soul energy, and this was finished being written at 444, which is literally like a protection number. So you are being protected as you move through this stage, and it's 1 minute away from 4 o'clock here. Just know that you're not in the wrong place, and you're not doomed. You're exactly where you need to be right now at this stage of your soul's evolution. You're in the contraction before the next emergence. You're in a place that the ancients used to call the Dark Night of the Soul, and they actually referred to it as an initiation. So you're transforming right now, and in a way that goes beyond the mind's understanding. So we're going to help the mind understand what the soul already knows. What feels like a destruction is actually the beginning of a profound rebirth. A Dark Night of the Soul is not a collapse, but it's a rearrangement, a dissolving and a stripping away of the geometry that cannot follow you into your next octave of evolution. It's not darkness that you're walking into. It's light so strong that it exposes every shadow that can no longer remain. Most humans fear this phase because it feels like losing control, but the soul knows exactly what it's doing, and it's shedding, just like the serpent. And the serpent teaches a truth that most people never notice. A snake cannot glide across a smooth floor. On flat ground, it struggles. It has no traction, no leverage, and nothing to push against. But place that same snake on the jungle floor, with roots and rocks and uneven soil and fallen branches, and suddenly it becomes fluid, precise, alive, and it thrives because of the contrast, not in spite of it. It uses the very obstacles around it to generate momentum, direction, and mastery. It moves by meeting resistance and converting that resistance into motion. The soul evolves in the same way. You cannot grow on perfectly smooth terrain. Contrast is the friction that your consciousness pushes against to find its shape, its power, its path. The Dark Night is not a punishment. It's the terrain your soul uses to learn how to glide. Every moment of contraction becomes the friction that launches you into your next expansion. This is the architecture of the Fibonacci spiral. Human awakening is not linear. It spirals outwards and inwards and upwards, returning, expanding again. Just like a wave in water, it moves outward and it hits a boundary, and then it returns amplified. And in the returning wave, it gains power. Evolution is always expansion and return, always outward and inwards, always inhale and exhale. This is why your lessons repeat, never in the same way, but at a higher resolution. Each dark night is not a setback, it's a Fibonacci return, a contraction that prepares you for the next spiral of expansion. This last year, the year of the snake, was a year where you stopped resisting the uneven terrain and began using it as propulsion. It was the year where you remembered that your soul did not come here to float on smooth marble floors, but to learn how to glide through the jungle floor of human experience where the textures, contrasts, shadows, and challenges became the very leverage for your transcendence. This is the secret of Ophiuchus, the archetype of transcendence, the 13th frequency, the one who masters the wheel by moving beyond it. When the soul stops resisting contrast and begins using it as sacred friction, everything shifts. Challenges become momentum, shadows become insights, resistance becomes direction, and dark nights become power surges. And the serpent? Well, the serpent rises. The dark night of the soul is the moment that you realize that you were never meant to escape the terrain. You were meant to use it, master it, coil through it, and rise above it. Just like the serpent. Just like the spiral. Just like Ophiuchus. You're not breaking down. You're breaking through. The Dark Night is a spherical initiation. The Matrix human perspective believes that the Dark Night is a fall, but from a higher dimensional perception, it's a spherical correction. Your consciousness is not linear, it's volumetric, wrapping back around itself like returning waves meeting their origin. In a swimming pool, waves don't move outward. They hit the boundary, return inward, merge, multiply, and then build pressure. This is what your soul does. The Dark Night is that returning wave. The moment your own unprocessed frequencies come back to meet you, not to punish you, but to restore your wholeness. Every returning wave increases power. Every contraction increases coherence. Every descent deepens your capacity for light. This is not collapse, it's amplification. Your lessons don't repeat because you failed. They return because you're rising into a higher ring of the spiral, a clearer vantage point and a deeper understanding. A dark night of the soul is like passing through the birth canal of your own becoming. In physical birth, there's a rhythm of contraction, pressure, tension, and then release. And then another contraction, stronger this time and deeper this time, but closer to the breakthrough. The baby's not moving backwards. It only feels like compression. In truth, every contraction pushes it closer to the world that it has not seen yet, and a world it already belongs to. This is the soul's journey. During a dark night, life tightens around you and your old self feels squeezed out of its familiar shape, and your identity, it feels too small, and your emotions press against the edges of your being and everything contracts. It feels like suffocation, like a collapse, like you're being trapped in a corridor with no exit. But it's not the end. This is the pressure that precedes emergence. Just as a baby is pushed millimeter by millimeter towards the light of a world that already awaits it, you too are being moved towards an expanded dimension of yourself. Every contraction is a push, and every push is progress. Every moment of pressure moves you further along the spiral towards a new coordinate within your space-time evolution. You cannot stay where you are. You're being born into a higher field. And just like the baby that has no language for what's happening, only a felt sense that something vast is forcing it forward, you may not understand your transformation in the moment, but your soul does. The contractions intensify, the pressure builds, and the squeezing becomes undeniable, and then you break through the membrane. A new world of perception, a new level of consciousness, and a new bandwidth of light. This is why spiritual rebirths mirror physical birth. The contraction is not the opposite of expansion, it's the force that creates it. Just as a snake pushes against its own tight skin until it tears and steps into a larger version of itself, your soul pushes against outgrown identities until the shell breaks and your next self emerges. In both serpent and human birth, the pressure is sacred, the discomfort is directional, the pain is intelligent, the contraction is what carries you forward, and the release is what delivers you into a new life. The dark night is not a death of your journey, but it's the birth canal of your evolution, and you're not being crushed, but you're being moved, and you're not being suffocated, but you're being guided, and you're not dying, but you're being born into a wider version of your own consciousness. Most people feel powerless in their dark night because they identify with effect, but the initiated understood that effect is never fixed. Effect varies as cause changes. The dark night reveals every cause still stored in your field. old beliefs, emotional residues, ancestral programs, and the entire architecture of your unintegrated subconscious. And in the returning wave, you're forced towards the 0 point, the center of the wheel, the still point where no external cause has power over you. And from here, you stop being a character in your own story and begin to become the author. This is why the ancients warned, be the master of all that surrounds thee. Never be affected by the cause of one's life. For at the 0 point, your perception expands, timelines begin to reorganize, and your emotional charges dissolve. The quantum field becomes accessible, and your multidimensional self-awareness returns. This is where the dark night becomes the soul's laboratory for mastery. When you forget your multidimensional nature, you collapse back into the flat wheel of the matrix. You only see one layer of reality, and your vision narrows, and your life force leaks into external attachments and survival loops. But in deep introspection, the inner descent, you pierce back into your multidimensionality. You reach the 0 point and you rise above the wheel, and you see life from a bird's eye view. And from this vantage point, nothing is beneath you. Everything is simply operating under different laws. Differences in consciousness are not hierarchies. They are different Fibonacci rings of the same spiral. All children of the cosmos, moving at different stages of return back to the same source. When this is understood, judgment dissolves, neutrality returns, compassion is born, and the dark night becomes the initiation into unity. The dark night strips away everything you built on top of yourself so that you can return to what you actually are, a multidimensional organism of consciousness moving through layers of density to recover your own coherence. When you forget this, you contract. When you remember this, you expand. Coherence is not emotional perfection, but it's an alignment between your physical body and your emotional body, your intentions, your truth, and your higher architecture. The dark night presses you until the false layers crack so that your higher layers can finally descend into the body. It's not here to make you comfortable, but it's here to make you whole. And wholeness requires remembering the laws that operate beyond the human consciousness. Everything you experience is the returning wave of your own field. Nothing comes to you that is not seeking integration. This is exactly why the dark night often brings old patterns back into view, or ancestry memories resurfacing, emotional loops that you thought that you should be done with, or past life residues, karmic echoes, subconscious programs, or shadow aspects that are just seeking reintegration. Not because you're failing, but because you're spiraling upwards into a greater bandwidth of perception, and everything stuck in the lower ring rises up to be metabolized. This is the ascension from the inside out. That's why everything feels like it's falling apart, because everything that cannot enter the next octave is dissolving. It's not a collapse, it's a clearing, and it's not punishment, but it's preparation. And you're not alone in this passage. You're held, you're guided, and you're becoming. So, there's nothing that you're moving through right now, and nothing that's moving through you that will not lead to a more stronger, wise, and aligned version that you're flourishing into. You're blossoming. And you're being reborn. So, thank you for watching until this point, and you are so strong. Okay, you are so strong. You're stronger than you think. You've done this time and time and time again. And somehow you've utilized it to further accelerate along your path. Every time. And you'll continue to do so. Because as you end up on these different coordinates within the Fibonacci sequence, yeah, they're supposed to be more challenging. They're designed to be more challenging. What you used to trip over, you walk over now. There's new challenges as you move through different octaves. Like the High Priestess, she's not going to have the same test as a Fool does. When you were the Fool, and who it is that you've evolved into. That's part of the game. Play with the contrast. Don't lose yourself in it. Until next time. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing because we'd love to have you around. Personal reading details also down below. And I'll speak to you very soon. You have a discount code for Otter Spirit bracelets if any of you are interested. One of the proceeds are donated towards Otter Sanctuaries. And until next time, bye. You got this. You've got this.